Incinerators have become much more efficient, environmentally friendly. We deal with a lot of tires that something needs to be done with. There's a lot of items out there that could be incinerated. One thought that came to my mind is, you know, we have a neighbor right by the landfill is the big cement place. Certainly they have some buildings that might like a reasonable price on some natural gas to run heaters to keep some of their things. They could use it for lighting themselves. There's just a lot of things there.
And what the consultant said was that the landfill right now does not really produce enough gas to make it viable to build the whole infrastructure that would be needed to market it or to use it ourselves.
Well, and that's usually what you get out of so-called experts, is he's looking way too big. You know, honestly, I will have to agree with him that if you're wanting to take the little amount that we're producing there and get it into a natural gas pipeline to market, sure, we're not making enough there. But there's other people in that area. A very small compressor can compress this into high pressure cylinders. They could use it on the heavy equipment that they operate in the facility, use it for their own lighting. As I mentioned before, keep themselves warm during the winter time. But the main thing is, don't get involved, please. County commissioners, Gordon, I don't think you're going to get involved in it, but the rest of you guys, please don't get involved in this carbon credit business, just to sit there and burn the gas. You know, I mean, all of the talk that we've had about becoming more energy efficient and trying and independent.
And here all this time our own garbage could have been fueling our lifestyles.
And then the first suggestion that this guy makes is catch it on fire and burn it and we get credit for it. Well, that's just energy you're throwing away, and I just think it's ridiculous. Now, you know, in one of our earlier shows, I had commented on Bob Cole he was showing some fight in him, and ladies and gentlemen, one of the items in the commission meeting was a discussion of a parking lot, a secure parking lot for the judges, and
it's $26,000 to fence it off.
$26,000, and let's catch everybody up in that we needed more room. We couldn't decide what we wanted to do, but we needed more room. So the decision was made for temporary buildings. It was supposed to cost $750,000.
This is down at the Milton courthouse.
Behind the existing courthouse in Milton, and then we found out that the foundation wasn't good, so that was another $200,000. And then we found out that we didn't buy enough buildings. We needed another building to put the prisoners in, and that was another couple $100,000. And then we found out that we needed video surveillance and a security system in it, and that was another $60,000 or $70,000. And I think, you know, Commissioner Cole, I appreciate you stepping up to the plate and saying something. I wholeheartely agree with you.
Here's what he said. Let's look at what he said.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Roll tape.
I got a question for anybody that cares to take a shot at answering it. How much more money are we going to put into this temporary situation we got down there that we haven't heard about initially? Because I'd like to see where we're at bottom line on this thing from where we were, as a board, were originally told we were going to be.
Well, this is not related at all. I mean, the point of the security, and I sat down with the judges last week, is this is a matter that they've asked us to do.
I understand, but I mean, we went into this with the cost in mind of doing these temporary renovations to get them by, and then we've added a jury selection room, inmate holding area, now this fencing. I mean,
Commissioner, I talked with the judges about this, and they seem to be
and the television or monitor.
They seem to be really content that we are in an interim situation. That we have no alternative at this point to build a new courthouse, unless the board can figure out a way to do it. We are not moving forward at all on that front, and yet the problems exist of security, of inmate security, and so forth. So I think this board is going to be continually called on to provide security, whatever the situation may be, because it is an interim situation with no end in sight.
Now I tell you, Commissioner Cole, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, all of these things you would hope that somebody would know that you would need. You know, like if I was going to go play baseball, for example, I would know that I would, right up front, I'd need a place to do it at, a glove, a ball, and a bat, and probably more than one person. You would think that same thought process would go here, but it seems like week after week, about every 3 weeks, yeah, about every 3 to 4 weeks, there's a new issue that comes forward, and let me, I want to encourage the new commission. We need to decide on a place to build the new or the courthouse annex, whether it be on Cotton Byron's property, on the jail property, and we need to get out of these temporary buildings. It's a wreck down there. It's a mess, and we need to come to a conclusion here and
then decide what to do with the existing courthouse.
Right, and actually, I had a good conversation with a person today that writes a lot of grants and things of that nature, and he expressed to me that even though money was tight, because that is a historic building, because it is still being used actively, he didn't feel like if you wrote the right kind of grants and looked around for them, felt like that remodeling, modern windows, new air conditioning and heating would not be a problem for our existing courthouse, but it would be a whole lot easier to get everybody out of there. So we got to get phase 1 done for new courtrooms, and maybe we have to have court in a temporary location for a little while. But you know, I'm tired of this. It just pitch and patch and all of the stress that it's causing, and I want to encourage. I believe that when the new commission is seated, that I think we're going to see good things concerning that. Now, the next item, and ladies and gentlemen, we try to be a watchdog for your money. Kind of been watching the situation for a while, and you know, government really likes lobbyists.
Yes.
They like lobbyists, and
unfortunately, the thought is they might be necessary, as opposed to actual elected officials getting something done.
I'm starting to see, and
Santa Rosa County has a lobbyist. This is,
well, actually, we have one for Tallahassee and we have one for Washington now, and you know, I don't think they publicize enough. And actually, at this commission meeting, I went forward and said, you know, look,
they were renewing the lobbyist contract,
right?
And it's $6,000 a month, and they're adding another contract on top of that. That'll be another $6,000 a month.
Right.
And you had something to say about that.
Yeah, I just, you know, I think that it may be a necessary item. One thing that I suggested was that that they tell more people than just me what this consultant's doing for us.
Well, here's what you told them. Let's watch.
This is $72,000 a year that the county taxpayer has been putting out, plus expenses. You know, I kind of think, in fairness to the taxpayers, it would be nice to see a list of what these guys are doing.